thank you ladies for coming to our meeting today. I'd like to welcome you all. I'd like to first start with a little name game because we're all new to each other. I've met all of you before, but we haven't had a chance to get to know each other. So we are going to say our first name, go around in a circle, and we're also going to use an adjective to describe something about ourselves that starts with the first letter of our first name. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about that. So that it'll also help us get to know each other a little bit better, to know a little bit more about ourselves. Okay, everybody seems ready? Your heads are, you have asserted yourself that you're going to do that. So I will start. My name is Mrs. Lyman, but my first name is Andrea, and I am artistic Andrea. Okay? So who would like to go first? Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Anna, and an adjective that represents me would be athletic.
Okay.
My name is Amanda, and I would say active.
My name's Joy, and I'm going to say that I'm joyful.
My name is Courtney, but it's with a K, so I'm going to say I'm kind.
Okay. So these are very good. It helps us to get to know each other when we get to pick the words that describe ourselves versus other people describing words for us. So it's very good to know that we all have things in common because I also am athletic and I'm very active and I'm kind, just as I know some of you are athletic and artistic and kind. So they're words that we get to help to describe us. So what I'd like to do first before we share anything else is describe a thing called confidentiality. We met before when you interviewed me to be part of our group. And I talked about how we would be mentioning and sharing things in confidence with just our small group. So we will meet together, just the 5 of us ladies, for participation in this group throughout our 6 weeks together. And we need to understand that confidentiality is what? What would you say it is?
Well, when we met, you described confidentiality as trust among the group, keeping our conversations just within our small group.
Yes, that is actually very correct. So whatever we say in here, it needs to stay in here. We need to know that if I share something personal when I'm walking through the hallways, that I'm not going to hear other students talking about me, just like you wouldn't want to hear other students talking about you. And because of what we'll be discussing in our group, it could be very, make us very anxious and very nervous to know that, oh, I just said that, is somebody else going to hear it too? So we want to keep that in confidence so that we all know we have each other's trust, okay? You also need to know that if you tell me something that I think could be hurtful for you, or you tell me somebody else is going to hurt you, that while I would like to keep stuff in confidence, I may have to break that confidentiality. If I know that you're going to hurt yourself, somebody else may hurt you, there's a bad situation happening, I will tell you first that I'm going to have to break that confidence, and then I'm going to go ahead and break that confidence if I think it's the best interest for you. Is everybody okay with that? All right. Well, now that we've played our name game, we need to get to know each other just a little bit better. You probably are asking why I asked you if you liked M&Ms in our pre-group meeting, correct? You're like, why does this lady ask me about M&Ms? Well, I'm going to tell you why. I would like you all to go ahead and help yourself to just a few, but don't eat them just yet. Okay, go ahead, everybody, just dump a few in your hands. Oh, I have napkins on the table, little placemats. There we go. Now, for every M&M that you took, you are going to go ahead and tell us a fact about yourself. So, if you took a red, you're going to tell us about your favorite food. If you picked a green, you have to tell us about your hobby. Now, if you have 2 reds, I hope you like more than one dish, because you're going to have to tell us 2. All right, so the blue is a favorite show or a favorite movie that you might have. The brown is one thing that you need, or that one thing you just can't live without. Our orange is your favorite sports or your favorite activity. And then yellow is one thing that you are good at doing. Okay? So who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yes, Joy, go ahead.
All right. My favorite food is pizza. And then for orange, my favorite sport, I'll say to watch on TV is basketball. I don't think I like sports. And then for 2 hobbies, I like to go to the movies, and I like to go roller skating.
Ooh, very good. Nice, Joy. Okay, we'll just go this way. Go ahead, Courtney. You go ahead and go next.
For red, my favorite food is a Peruvian dish called tallarín saltado, which is delicious, so that's my favorite. My hobby is I like to do crafts. seasonal crafts mainly. Blue, my favorite show, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do like the show Jeopardy. Orange, favorite sports, I do actually have two, which is lucky, I have two oranges. I like hockey, and I also like soccer. And then yellow is one thing that you are good at doing, and I am good at drawing.
Okay, Anna, go ahead.
Okay, I can start with orange. My favorite sport would be soccer. And then for yellow, one thing I am good at would be swimming.
Ooh, good. Okay, so I will start with my orange. So for my favorite sport, I would say that would be soccer. For blue, my favorite show or movie, my favorite all-time movie is The Little Mermaid. And so for my favorite TV show, I like Chopped on the Food Network. And one thing I'm good at is cooking, which is why I like Chopped.
Very good, very good. I will go ahead and say that one of my hobbies and my favorite sport is running. That's why you see those numbers that were hanging up in my office. All those numbers are from Race Bibs. And one thing that I am good at is baking. I like to bake along with my children. My children and I bake together. So, getting to know each other is important because it helps us get together and bond a little bit more. But one other thing that helps us bond and get together and work as a group is having some norms. Have you ever heard the word group norms before? They're normal behaviors that we're all going to agree to participate in. So I would like you to think for about a minute at most, maybe 30 to 40 seconds of one or two things that you think to yourself, I need this from everybody else in the group so that we can have a productive session every time we meet. I'm going to go ahead and write them on the board behind me, and then I'm going to put them on a piece of paper so that every time we meet, they're just there to remind ourselves before we get started of what's going to be expected of us. So we're all going to go around and we're going to get to create our working conditions so that we're all on the same page. So you guys go ahead and think. I'm going to grab my marker and then I'll be ready to go. Everybody feel that they have something? Okay. What is one thing that you guys would like to have? Yes, go ahead, Anna.
Good listeners.
Okay, so good listeners. So Anna, along with everybody else, needs people to listen so she feels respected. What else?
So be on time.
Be on time. That works. Yes, Amanda?
Don't use cell phones while we're eating.
Yes.
Be respectful of other people's opinions or comments that they share with the group.
Does anybody else have one that they're going to want to add to that? Can everybody live with these? Do you agree that you can follow all of these? Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the reason why it's important to be respectful is that you may have a difference of opinion from somebody else. Your family may be different from somebody else's. And so when we're sharing things about our future and our willingness to go forward with our post-secondary education, is we need to be respectful of what other people have decided for themselves. The be on time, we only get a very small hour together once a week. And so if we're on time, I will try my best to end on time to value your class time because you're agreeing to come and meet with me when you should be in a class also learning very important information, and I don't want to make a waste of time for that. So we're all going to be on time together. With that being said, if we're using our cell phones, we're probably not going to be listening to other people or respectful, so it's a good thing that we put those away. Okay, so moving forward, our group, as we discussed in our pre-group meeting, is about post-secondary anxiety. So there was a lot of stress today, I noticed, walking around. You guys were applying for your financial aid today. How did you feel about that?
I felt nervous because if I can't get the money, then I can't go to college. So I was worried that I'm going to fill it out right, and what if I do it wrong?
Yes. And so there's a lot of stress your senior year. You guys have started your financial aid today, and the next thing you know, what's the next thing that's going to be coming? Is your college applications, and that's a high anxiety. There's a lot of stress that's associated with that, and so we need to learn how to manage all of that together so that we're not overstressed. You have a lot of homework, you have a lot of extracurriculars, and now you have all of this other level of post-secondary stuff that's gonna come at you. So the point of our group is to help ease you through that transition. You're working on your financial aid, you'll be working on your scholarships. We're gonna work on what happens when you get to college. Because before you know it, you're gonna be applied and you're gonna be getting acceptance letters and you're gonna be going to school. What happens when you get there? As much stress as you have and anxiety as you have right now is how much is going to happen. So over the course of our next 6 weeks, we are going to be looking at how do we adjust to college? What is college like? How is it different from high school? What are professors like? We have teachers here. How does all of that come together? So for our next workshop, our session that we come together, the one thing that we're going to be discussing is fears of college. Okay, there's a lot of fears associated with going to college, and so for part of your homework, what I'm going to need you guys to do is to start thinking about what is it that you're afraid of, taking that next step. You applied for financial aid today, why? Does anybody know why I applied today?
I need money.
Just because you need money. And you said, oh, financial aid, so I did it. And then for college, who told you what college to apply to? Maybe you just heard of one? Somebody you researched, you did some research?
My parents.
Your parents told you where you're going to apply. So when you get to college, then what happens? Who tells you all that stuff? So we're going to work together to figure all of that stuff out. So what I'd like you to start thinking about is what is one or two things that you're really afraid of? When you go to college, what is it that you're really afraid of? What fear, what anxiety do you have? And we're going to work on that, and then we're going to come together and discuss, okay, so this is a fear. How do we move past that? What things do I already have in my little toolkit that I can use to move forward with that? Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Nope. Everybody's all right? Well, I'm very glad. I will see you again next week. And we are going to move on to our next activities as we finish towards our transition to college. All right. Thank you.